I wanted to give you guys a review on the HYPERLITE Southwest backpack here and HYPERLITE's pack pod. One of these pieces of gear I would highly recommend, and the other one I would never buy again. All right, so I've had my HYPERLITE backpack here and my pack pod for about 1.5 years. I've spent well over 150 days backpacking with these. I've trekked over 1,000 miles all through the Pacific Northwest. I spent a month backpacking in Utah. So I've been able to really put this gear to the test. At first, I really loved this pack pod. You know, it was my first time ever using a pack pod. Its functionality, I still love. Much nicer than a stuff sack. It's really easy for me to access my gear, as you can see here, to see everything that's inside it. That said, this thing started falling apart on me pretty quick. You can see here, the Dyneema, it's just tearing apart everywhere. And I also have a tear in the bottom here. You know, I was on the fence buying this originally because I think it cost about $60. You know, it's kind of a lot for just a small piece of gear like this. You know, after I originally started having my problems, I emailed HYPERLITE and they were pretty cool. They sent me a brand new one, which was awesome of them. I think these have a 1-year warranty, so I was still under my year when I contacted them. So they sent me a brand new pack pod. And I go down to Utah for 30 days of backpacking. And right away, my zipper fails on me. It kept failing on me. All my stuff would spill out. Super annoying. I get back home, email HYPERLITE. They send me a link to a video on YouTube on how to fix a zipper. You know, I tried it out, didn't work. So now I'm using my old pack pod again here. You know, for such a small piece of gear that costs $60, I would hope that it would last a lot longer than that. So if you do buy one of these, don't expect it to last very long, at least in my experience. And then another thing that happened, one of the reasons that I originally pulled the trigger on buying one of these was the stellar reviews on their website. Almost all 5-star reviews, a couple 4-star reviews. You know, no 3-star reviews, 2-star reviews. I was like, wow, you know, these must be just awesome. So after I had, you know, both of my issues, I went on their website and I left a verified 2-star review. You know, it was super nice, just, you know, just went into detail about, you know, pretty much exactly what I told you guys. Never showed up on their website. I think that's pretty shady. I can imagine that if my review didn't show up, you know, maybe there were quite a few other reviews like mine. That's that. Would not buy this again. I'll show you guys what I will buy as soon as this is all the way done for. Yeah, so if you haven't picked up on it yet, I'm obviously not sponsored by HYPERLITE. This is a pack pod that I picked up for my fiance Trish over there, and it's made by Mountain Laurel Designs. It's not Dyneema, but you know, these are such small pieces of gear that there's really not much of a weight difference between the two of these. While I personally haven't used this to really test it out, I can already tell just by looking at it, this is gonna outlast this pack pod probably times 4 or 5. I think it cost about $20 to $30 instead of $60. So half the price, more durable, same exact functionality. Yeah. Going forward, I would definitely buy a Mountain Laurel Designs pack pod over HYPERLITE's. There's probably less than 1 ounce difference in weight there. So, and it's, yeah, pretty close to the same size. All right, so that's that. On a higher note, I absolutely love this backpack. One of my all-time favorite pieces of gear that I've ever used, and I could not recommend this backpack enough. I have the Southwest 4400, which is about 70 liters in size. It only weighs 2.45 pounds, which is extremely light for an internally framed bag. What I really like about this backpack is if I need to carry a lot of gear, I can. I've had this thing loaded down with 2 weeks of food, all of my backpacking gear, pack rafting gear, a gallon of water, you know, a good 70 pounds. This thing handles heavy loads insanely well for such a light bag. I don't think personally there's another bag on the market that weighs 2.45 pounds that can handle heavy loads as well as this bag. I really don't. So a lot of times I will get to camp, I'll set up a base camp like this, and you know, I'll take off with just my photography gear, a couple snacks, and some extra layers. What I really love about this, even though it's a 70-liter bag, it's able to compress down very small. So whether you're doing just an overnight trip, a day hike, a 2-week expedition, this bag can do it all. This is the only backpack that I use. You know, that's really nice. It's extremely comfortable. It's one of the most comfortable backpacks that I've ever used. To me, it's got exactly what I want in a backpack. Personally, I like just one big internal pocket. And the reason for that is it's very easy to waterproof my gear 100%. If you think a pack cover is gonna waterproof your gear in extreme conditions, you probably haven't been in extreme conditions and tested that out, because I can tell you a pack cover can help, but a pack cover is not foolproof. This backpack, the fabric itself is waterproof. And when I first bought this backpack, I got into some pretty extreme rains and all of my gear stayed perfectly dry. That said, over time, it's not gonna be as waterproof, I've found out. And the reason for that is, while the fabric itself is completely waterproof, the backpack has seams here. And on the inside of the backpack, you can see they're taped. And just over time, wear and tear, water's going to be able to get through those seams a little bit. That said, the single internal pocket allows me to just I always carry a lightweight trash compactor sack. And I will drop that straight down into my backpack, put all of my gear inside and twist the top off. And whether I'm hiking in extreme rain, fording a river, pack rafting, I know for certain that all of my gear is gonna stay totally dry. You know, if you have a backpack with a lot of pockets, you're either gonna need more bags to pull that off. I just find it way easier to organize my gear in a pack pod and a couple stuff sacks instead of having a bunch of compartments. And the other thing that's great about that is the less pockets, the less zippers, the less failure points your backpack is going to have. And also the lighter your backpack is gonna be. I really like having just this outer mesh pocket here. You know, I can stuff my map, an extra layer, snacks, just things that I want to access throughout the day without getting into my backpack. I think they have a similar backpack with a mesh outer stow pocket, but I went with the solid one. That way, if it's really dusty out, my gear's not getting dusty, people don't have to look at all the stuff I have jammed in there. It's got a loop here, and I use this for carrying an ice axe. So I really like that feature there. Yeah, it's got perfect water bottle pockets here. You can see here, holds a smart water bottle, real nice there. So that's a bonus. And then it's got these little hip belt pockets here. Yeah, these are nice. You can, I think they've actually made them a little bit larger since I originally purchased this backpack. I can throw my phone in there, a chapstick, granola bar, just something I want to be able to easily access right there. Yeah, got a built-in whistle here. It's got this little stretchy thing here. While I hike, I can store my GoPro. The little GoPro stick fits right in there real nice. So I really like that feature. I never use a sternum strap or a hip belt when I hike personally, but most people do. Yeah, as far as how this bag is holding up, it's been holding up just absolutely incredible. I mean, you can see on the bottom here, it's starting to wear through a little bit, but I mean, that's to be expected, you know, with any backpack after, you know, 150 days of use. Yeah, you know, I was throwing this around for a month straight on a desert rock, really abrasive surfaces. I could see this bag easily lasting another 2-3 years with me backpacking 100+ days a year, no problem. Yeah, I really just cannot recommend this backpack enough. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Yeah, this backpack is insanely light, very functional, has absolutely no unneeded features. It's very versatile. Yeah, whether you want to do an overnight trip or a 2-week trip, this thing will suit you very, very well. So they make this bag in a couple different sizes. I went with the 70 liter. You're always better off having a backpack that's slightly bigger than what you think you might need. So if you're on the fence about what size to get, yeah, I would say go with the larger backpack, just because, so you can see, it presses down very small if you need it to. If you guys have any questions about this backpack, about the pack pods, leave me a comment. If you guys have any questions about anything backpacking related, yeah, leave a comment, say hi, say what's up. You guys are awesome. Give this video a like if you found it useful. That helps me out. That helps other people find this content. And yeah, I will see you guys soon. Thank you guys so much for being here. You guys are awesome. Peace.